Hickok 45 here. I see a loaded pistol on the table. Let's empty it. You want to? Yeah, like right there. Well, it didn't even explode. That's lame. Yeah, 9mm actually doesn't explode stuff. Y'all knew that, didn't you? Let's see, where my other mag. I have another magazine, and I stuck it in one of my pockets. I really did. Here it is. I found it. Let's shoot it some more. This is the extended mag. That one held 6 plus 1. This one holds 8 plus 1. Okay, for my relatives in Kentucky, that would be 9 rounds with this one, if you have one in the chamber. So let's shoot some steel. All right, not a bad little shooter. The FN 503. You know, you're familiar with the 509. This is 503, not quite as big a number and not quite as big a pistol. Speaking of that, you know, I don't have any trouble with social distancing, as I joked before, which you were sort of doing right now, because I hate people anyway. I tell everybody. Just kidding. I don't hate you all. This is the 503, and it's a relatively new offering from FN. So you've asked about it, and I requested it. Kind of how it works. If enough people request something, even if I don't like it, guess what I do? Just out of the goodness of my heart, I get one anyway and try it out. But you know, there aren't many firearms that you have to twist my arm too terribly hard, because I enjoy shooting and experimenting with different firearms. And you know, especially if it's from a mainstream company that we know makes good firearms. So, you know, let's try it out. And it's a carry gun, it's a pocket gun, defensive pistol. So let's see what it's about and what we think about it. Okay, John and I have been shooting it. You've seen it in the Sunday shoot-around. I shot it in, I tend to shoot them in the Sunday shoot-arounds, and I have shot this one, gosh, maybe 2 different times, once I guess. I've been shooting it off and on. And I haven't had it all that long, a couple of weeks, I guess, but it no malfunctions. It seems to operate. Let's go with all the positives first. That's kind of what we do, negatives and positives. No malfunctions, and for such a thin grip, I shoot it better than I ought to be able to at times. And another positive is it's an FN. They tend to make quality firearms, as we all know. I'm sure some would disagree. They have made a lot of firearms for our military, and they just tend to do a good job. You know, I like the 509 a great deal, and this is kind of like its little bitty brother in some ways. You still got good sights on that thing, nice 3-dot sights. It's a stainless steel slide, I think, and it feels like quality. Okay, any other positives? Okay, another positive is pretty good trigger for striker fired trigger, I have to say. I mean, there's better probably, yeah. And then the reset, a little long, not too bad though, not too bad. I don't really notice it when I'm shooting being long or anything. So pretty nice little break on the trigger. So very shootable. If you have small hands, you would probably like this a lot. Okay, it's got a very thin grip. Feels thinner to me than the shield. Should have brought the shield out, but it really feels thinner than that one even. Okay, so good little shooter, does okay. Now the negatives. Well, I'll load my mag while I'm talking negatives here. Well, let's see. Negatives. It's not guaranteed to hit every shot. I have missed before with it. Oh, wait a minute. Nothing's guaranteed, is it? No, negatives might be the weight a little bit for the size. I brought out a couple others here. The P365, which is unloaded. They weigh around, without the magazine, around 1 pound. The 365. So does the Hellcat from Springfield. Sorry to curse at you. Those weigh around 16 ounces, unloaded totally, no magazine. And this one weighs about almost 3 ounces heavier. Okay, with no mag. So in other words, apples to apples. This one is about 3 ounces heavier. Slide, I think, is a little tall. It's got a little more going on with the slide. It's just heavier. Now, again, some of you, whoa, what's the matter? You weakling, 3 ounces. Well, in a little pistol, that makes a difference. In any pistol, ounces matter. They really do. Okay. The other negative, big one, I guess, is the capacity. This comes with 2 magazines. 6 rounds and 8 rounds. Okay, so you've got a firearm that is, you know, relatively the same size as a P365. Okay, and here's the Hellcat Springfield. You know, that's kind of what you're competing with these days. You know, not to bash, you know, FN. I like FN, but if you're going to introduce a new pistol these days, you do seem a little behind the times, don't you? If you bring out a single stack like this, because of the Hellcat and the P365, even to some extent the Glock 43X, I guess you could say. It's a little bigger firearm, a little different, taller and all that, bigger, longer grip. But it, you know, there are 15-round mags for these. I've never used one. I think they're hard to get a hold of right now. But so you have these options a lot of people like, or even just a plain Glock 43, which is what, a 6 or 7 rounder. So it is comparable in the standard Glock 43. So that would be kind of the market for that. But you get a kind of a bigger gun. It's a little bit like John noticed right away. It reminds him of the Springfield XDS, which is a little heavier than a lot of other single stacks, and it's relatively low capacity as well. I'm talking with the flush magazines. Now you start getting into extended mags, and of course the capacity on all of these goes up. You can go way up. You got a 15-round mag for this P365. I've got some of those, and I think there's even higher capacity mags for the Hellcat. Now the Hellcat, I tend to forget, it holds 11 to begin with. Yeah, so there you go. You're talking about 11 rounds in a firearm, you know, the same length. Okay, those mags are loaded, the gun's not, chamber's not, of course. So that's what you get. You get 6 plus 1 versus 11 plus 1. All right, so I mean that would be a negative for a lot of people. So can't help but notice that, point that out. In this new era of of little firearms, pocket firearms, and that sort of thing. Okay, so you know, I know capacity is very important to a lot of people. And speaking of capacity, let's empty a mag or two here with this thing. But now, on the other hand, you might really want a thinner grip. Okay, and of course you can't cheat physics too much. If you want a very thin grip, you have very small hands, or for some reason you just want a very thin grip, as thin as you can get it for your purposes. It's easier to conceal. Then, you know, that's a positive. It's not a negative. But for me, I don't see I don't see any difference in the concealability, really. Any of these 3 firearms and some others, I can conceal equally well. Okay, let's see. I've got this in my hand. Let's put it. Well, I think it fits fairly. Yeah, I mean, it's a little thicker. Maybe the Hellcat's just a tad thicker. Yeah, it fits in that holster a little bit better. So with this loaded in your pocket, there's really no difference between carrying this, you know, in the P365 as far as size. And guess what? As far as weight, because I gave you the weight on them unloaded with no magazine, which we generally don't do. We usually talk about the weight with an empty mag. Okay. I think all the mags were loaded, so I just loaded or weighed them with no magazines in them and gave you that, you know, about a pound for the Hellcat and the 365, and then the FN is about 3 pounds, 3 ounces. I'll get it right in a minute. 3 ounces heavier by my scale, and that was just giving me an idea of where they are, because we thought it felt heavier. Well, I put a loaded mag in each one of them and weighed them, and guess what? With a loaded mag, they all weigh about the same. Okay? So you can say, oh, well, then there's no real difference. Well, yeah, there's not if they're loaded. So if I put a loaded mag in the 503, you know, loaded mag, and again, there's nothing in chamber in any of these. Loaded mag here. Then we're talking about the same weight. But what's the difference, boys and girls? Yeah, capacity. I have 10 rounds right here. Well, 10 plus 1, and I'd have 6 plus 1 here, and I'd be talking about the same weight. Okay? And big difference in capacity. So that's what you lose with this. All right, so that would be a negative for a lot of folks. Just wanted to point that out. If you're interested in more capacity, this might not be the firearm for you. Okay, but you know, it's not a bad little shooter, I have to say. It will pop a 2-liter. Yeah, I think I can even hit the gong with it. If I get enough ammo, a couple thousand rounds. Let's put that big 8-round mag in it. Yeah, it's holding a little bit too high, I think, on a couple of those. So let's hit this. Oh, we haven't smoked any pot, so we've not done anything yet. Yeah, smokes pot pretty well. It bangs the gong. So it's not a bad shooter, even though it feels very awkward to me. As I pointed out, I think in a shooting the breeze, it almost feels like I'm grabbing my cell phone by the edge. You know, it's so narrow for me. But that said, it's a good little shooter, and you might like that grip. So this is one, you know, I would be hesitant of just buying it sight unseen. I'll shoot it one more time. And I would really make sure that that grip feels okay to you. Okay, now you could wrap it up. You could put some grip tape on it, and maybe I could create a grip that would feel good to me, but it would take a lot of grip tape and some Frankensteining, which I've been known to do. But why would I do that? I could build the grip up to where it's as big as what I've got these two built up to, but what would I gain? You know, I'd have a firearm that feels good and everything, much better to me, but I would still have what? Yeah, you've been listening. I'm proud of you all. You'd still have lower capacity, okay? Might not matter to you. The main thing is how well you shoot it, and capacity probably is overrated to some extent, right? It's just that most people would rather have too many bullets than risk not having enough, right? So there you go. Mr. Cowboy, you've been neglected. Yeah, it feels remarkable. When I start shooting it, I'm surprised that I can shoot it at all with that thin grip. But it's not too bad. Put a couple on this paper, see if it's accurate. Wow, not bad. Boom. So just wanted to bring it to your attention. It's a new firearm. I won't put 10,000 through it, but shot it 3, 4, 5 different times, and it's not malfunctioned bit. So it seems reliable. It's an FN, and I would say it's quality. I could break it down. I guess there's no need to do that. It breaks down a little bit differently. You got to bring it back, and it says in the manual, I will tell you because I have broken it down, that you just lock it back and pull out the slide stop, and I didn't do that so well. Actually, you want to bring it back to that little spot right there. You can see this kind of like the takedown. Well, and then you push the slide stop out, and then you're in business. And it's just like, you know, every other pistol like this once you get that off. Nothing like speed, is there? So pretty cool little pistol. It's just that it has a couple of negatives that would probably, personally I would not buy it. Not because it's not a quality firearm, but I wouldn't buy it because I can get the same thing, relatively the same money. These are around $500 probably what you'll pay for them. I think like $550 MSRP. But I can get more capacity in a firearm like this that I'm carrying. It has the same weight. You know, instead of 6+1, I'm carrying 11+1 or 10+1 in a firearm that shoots just as well and seems to be well made also. Okay, so not to bash FN, they make good stuff, but that's just the reality of the market these days. But I would check it out. Put your grimy hands around that grip. and decide for yourself how it feels. It might be just what the doctor ordered for you. Okay, so might be something that would meet the prescription for you. So anyway, glad you came out, and we're pleased to have you with us on this nice evening. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.